For the longest time, you've heard about the importance of being physically fit. And our world has told us about why we need to go to the gym, why we need to eat healthy, why we need to engage in exercise, stretching, yoga, workouts, because our body is a vehicle for functioning in the world, and our bodies have got to be physically fit. But I'm sure by now you realize that we are more than just a physical body. We are spiritual beings experiencing the physical world through this body. But no one talks about spiritual fitness. Yes, we've heard of meditation. Yes, we've heard of prayer and mindfulness. But what if there is a practice that could neatly look at all the different dimensions of spirituality and create a workout for your soul? This is what we are talking about today. Mindvalley, teaming up with Jeffrey Allen, is developing a model for spiritual fitness. And when you can learn to pay attention to the fitness levels of your soul, of your connection to your soul, something dramatic happens. A fit body is like going from a regular car to having a Ferrari to take you around the world. Now imagine if that Ferrari engine could be the engine that powers your connection with your soul. Think about the guidance, the intuition, the sense of calm, balance, the light you could shine in the world when your connection to your spiritual core is powered by such an engine. This is where I would love to introduce you to our guest today, Jeffrey Allen, the creator of Mindvalley's Spiritual Fitness Plan.
I trained to be a mathematician and an engineer, and I did that for 15 years. But even when I was in college, I started having these weird experiences. Some of them were like seeing auras around people. I had these like lucid dreaming experiences. And then the scientists in me wanted to know more, so I started studying like every book I could find, every great teacher I could find. I'm actually not a natural, naturally born gifted intuitive or healer. It's something that I learned. There was a point where, as an engineer, I thought I had it all together. I thought I was doing the right thing. And then I realized, wow, I'm totally wasting my life here. All these things that I think are important, the things that we're focused on, that was kind of my darkest moment when I realized I've been totally going in the wrong direction. As good as I am at it, this isn't the way to go. That's when things started to change for me. That's when I decided I gotta bring this thing out. I gotta start going with the energy. I gotta really follow my dream.
Jeffrey, welcome to the set. So for those of you watching right now, Jeffrey is one of the best-selling authors in the Mindvalley Academy. We're filming this here in San Diego, and Jeffrey just recently, yesterday, got off the stage at Mindvalley's big event here. It was the biggest event in our history. And I want to play a short clip of 800 people cheering Jeffrey on as he absolutely blew their minds.
Thank you, everybody. So nice to be here. And wow, look at all that beautiful energy.
So congratulations on that remarkable performance. And so when we knew that we wanted to develop a program on spiritual fitness, because, people forget this. People forget that we need to be working out the conscious, the spiritual aspects of ourselves as much of our body. I knew that you were the person that I wanted to go to help create this. Now, in your words, Jeffrey, what is spiritual fitness?
Yeah, great question. So spiritual fitness first came into my awareness when I was watching my own students. So I've been teaching for many years, and what I noticed was that some students, when I teach them how to tune into their intuition, or when I teach them how to do a particular thing with their energy body, some students get it right away. It's very easy, and they succeed easily, and they have all this joy and enthusiasm because they're moving up so quickly. But not everybody, right? So there's a lot of my students that take the same training, they put in the same level of effort, but for some reason they're just not quite able to get there. And so the question I always had as a teacher is, how can I help everybody, right? I want to take every student all the way up to their top level. And so I was really focused on these students. What is it that's in them that's not taking them there? And I noticed this fitness. I noticed that, there's a base level of spiritual fitness that they don't have. It's just like with physical fitness. If I want to go out and run a marathon with my friends, if I don't have that base level of physical fitness, I'm just not going to be able to do it. I can show up on race day, tie my shoes, run my little heart out, but I'm just not going to make it. And so it's the same thing with spiritual fitness.
So I guess the analogy is like that. you say you want to run a marathon, you want to be that being that has that body that can complete a marathon, but you don't train for it. So you show up, you try to run the marathon, and you fail, right? And I guess in a similar way, many people who practice spiritual programs such as meditation or creative visualization are saying, I want to have that samadhi experience. I want to have that experience of like creating synchronicities in my life. So I'm going to meditate and I'm going to do it. But they haven't reached that baseline level. They're looking at it from a very simplistic view. They fail, they get discouraged. But what you're saying is that there is a baseline we can attain. And that spiritual fitness is more than just meditation or mindfulness. There are multiple different dimensions that you look at, and you have created that roadmap.
Yes. Yeah. And in fact, when I looked at details of how do I help you students move forward, how do you get to this level of spiritual fitness? Because I know what it feels like myself. You know, before there was a time when, you know, I was trying really hard to tune in. I was trying really hard to get to my, talk to my guides or tune in with my intuition, and I just couldn't quite do it. So I was looking at what happened, what did I change to get there? And I realized there's actually 12 different areas of spiritual fitness. It's kind of like thinking of the muscles in your body, right? So even if you're really good at working out your upper body, if you go for a run, that's not going to help, right?
Right.
And so I found that if students had all 12 of these levels of fitness, they're very easily able to pick up new things, whether it's a new spiritual training, a new meditation practice, hypnotherapy, you know, whatever it is they're trying to get. If it's related to spirituality and their consciousness, which, you know, frankly is everything, right? Mm-hmm. If they have these 12 levels of spiritual fitness, they're able to pick it up very easily. But it takes all 12. That was the secret.
So keep this in mind. There are 12 different aspects of spiritual fitness that you want to look at. And in this masterclass with Jeffrey Allen, we're going to show you the 12th. Now, I want to share an analogy that hit me recently. So when we were at Mindvalley U in Barcelona, running a university project there for Mindvalley, what happened is that we had a gym instructor training the students. And he said, Vishen, are you fit? And I go, yeah, I'm fit. I work out. I go to the gym. I run. And he says, okay, let me give you a simple fitness test. I want you to do a leg squat with your back against that wall and hold that squat position for 2 minutes. Can you do that? He says, that's a baseline fitness test. If you can do that, you're fit. So I tried. I was confident I could. And at about 1 minute, 45 seconds, my legs gave way, right? It was painful. And I realized I couldn't pass that mark. So he said, don't worry, we're here for 30 days in Barcelona. I'll train you. I went to the gym about an hour a week. It's a very optimized training system. At the end of 30 days, I could hold that leg squat for 3 minutes.
Nice.
And that simple aspect of just making sure that I had focused on my legs changed things. You see, I'd been focusing on my upper body, not my legs. All of a sudden, I could do fitness routines because I had a complete fitness plan. I wasn't just focusing on one particular group of muscles and ignoring the rest. I remember I could suddenly find that I could lift both my kids on my shoulders. Could never do that before. And the same thing applies. Often we are good in 5 or 6, maybe 7 or 8 aspects of these spiritual fitness categories, but we are failing at 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. But when you can get yourself to succeed in all 12, that's when the magic happens. That's when a lot of the spiritual phenomenon that you hear people talk about, these really legendary spiritual teachers, being able to communicate with guides, being able to induce synchronicities, being able to see your dreams, your visualizations manifest very rapidly, being able to instantly help your body recover fast from injury or healing or illness. That's when those things emerge, because you've now taken a full spectrum view at your spiritual fitness. This is why this is so important. So with that, Jeffrey, the first question I think we should share with the audience is, what's the difference between being spiritually fit and not being spiritually fit?
Okay. Yeah, so that's a great question. So the way that you know that you're spiritually fit is you look at how easily your life is moving, right? So if you're spiritually fit, it's almost like you're running downhill. So the things that you want to create in your life are showing up for you. It's almost like success and happiness is chasing you rather than the other way around. That's what happens when you're spiritually fit. When people talk about synchronicity and having things aligned and just that feeling of wow, the entire universe has my back. All those things come when you're at that level of spiritual fitness. But if you're low in the different areas of spiritual fitness, it's the opposite. It feels like you're running uphill. So it feels like you're taking a lot of action to get to where you want to go, but you're not quite getting there. Or you know that you can feel it. There's something that's out there in front of you that's a little bit bigger life for you, a little bit more joy for you, a little bit more impact, or helping others. But for some reason, it's just like, it feels like it's just out of reach, right? So if you're feeling like what you want is a little bit out of reach, that has to do with your spiritual fitness.
So you're saying that when we become spiritually fit, the time gap between what we want to create in the world, what we desire, and what manifests or appears has been shrunk.
Yeah, definitely. And this is really important right now because a lot of people are waking up right now. The energy on the planet is such that more and more of us are waking up. And as we wake up, it's easier to see that gap, right? So if I'm a little bit asleep, I don't really notice that I'm not living the life of my dreams. But when I start to wake up, as we're all doing, suddenly I notice, wow, there's a little bit of difficulty in me that I didn't know was there, or I thought I was super happy, but
because I bet this is what's going on. Maybe you guys recognize this pattern. As you start waking up, you start getting these insights. You want to do this. You want to contribute to humanity in this way. You want to build this business, write this book. That's one part of being spiritually awakened because intuition is coming to you.
Yeah.
But the next part is to be spiritually fit enough to make those things come into your life as easily as possible, as you said, running downhill. Would that be a decent analogy?
Yeah, definitely. And you can really see it because people that are spiritually fit don't just get the idea of where they want to go, but they also get the steps to take them there, right? So I can give you an example from my life. When I knew that I wanted to switch out of my old career, I wanted to let go of just doing engineering, and I wanted to really get more deeply into my spiritual practice. For a long time, it was just an idea, right? So I did a couple things. I had a little healing studio in the back of my house, and I was practicing and learning, but I really was still kind of doing my old thing with 95% of my action, just because I didn't know what the steps were to take me there. But because I was practicing, because I was getting my level of spiritual fitness up, at some point it really kicked in. I was able to hear my guides just as clear as day and get specific instructions on what to do next. And I can't tell you how big a difference that makes because suddenly I wasn't guessing about life. Like, maybe I should do this, and maybe that's the right step. Or I read, something really good by this famous author, and so I'm going to try to do what they did, which is great if they're going the same way. But I started to notice, wow, there's a special instruction kit just for me, but I have to be tuned in. I have to be in that level of fitness so that I can get that information.
You're getting guidance, and then things are just coming to you easily. It's so funny. As you said that, I remembered this incident. Yeah. We were at A-Fest in Thailand. A-Fest is a big festival that Mindvalley puts on. And it's an invite-only event. It's sort of like TED for personal growth. And there are hundreds of people over there, literally hundreds of people, world-class speakers on stage. Mm-hmm. And I'm at a party, a cocktail reception, and Jeffrey comes up to me. And he comes up to me and he goes, Vishen, I want to tell you something about what I see in your energy. And he said something and it was dazzling, and he kind of hinted that, that we should maybe work together. But look, people hint this to Mindvalley pretty much every day. We get 3,000 applications every single year just to be considered to be a Mindvalley author on one of our platforms. And so it isn't easy, but something drew me to Jeffrey. There was something about his light, something about his style. He was so confident, so poised, so calm. And a series of coincidences emerged where we ended up sitting together, we ended up talking, and again, there are hundreds of people trying to get access to me, but somehow with Jeffrey, it was just easy. And we went up to Jeffrey, and we ended up offering Jeffrey a publishing deal. It was ridiculous. And so we then published Jeffrey's product, and we didn't know how it was going to go, and that first product was called Duality. And it became the second highest rated product on all of Mindvalley for that year. The second highest rated product from a man whom I had just only met at A-Fest. Jeffrey did not have a book out. He wasn't on TV. He wasn't a celebrity like many of our other authors, but it was the second highest rated product. And then again, a series of coincidences happened, which led to this program, Unlocking Transcendence, one of the most exciting programs we've ever developed just on spiritual fitness. And somehow, when we as Mindvalley were receiving this calling that we needed to create this program, Jeffrey's energy kept attracting us, and so we went back to Jeffrey. So I have seen you pull this off.
Do you want me to tell you the behind the scenes on that?
You've been able to get access to us and open up all of these doors effortlessly.
Yeah,
and it feels like we are chasing you.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it feels like when your spiritual fitness is up, is the opportunities chase you. And it's funny, because so with this example, when I went to A-Fest because I knew I needed to go. I didn't know why. I didn't even know what it was. People said, where are you going to? I said, I don't know, I just know I have to be there. And I'll tell you a little secret I probably haven't told you before.
No.
I actually didn't get in. Right, the first A-Fest, I put my application in.
You got rejected. How did you pull that off?
About a month later, I realized, I never heard back from them. I didn't get in. And so I said, okay, well, I'm an energy worker, right? So I sat down, I know I'm supposed to be there, I know it's a mistake. So I just said hello to the person that was doing the applications. I tuned in and I asked her, I said, what do you need to hear from me to get in? And she said, your application was too long. It didn't seem authentic. It seemed like you were telling us what you thought we wanted to hear. If you just make it shorter and take out all that part, we'll let you in right away. So I said, no problem. So I sat down, I literally took out every other paragraph, right? That's all I did. Sent it in, put a new email address, and
oh
fired
my
up.
God, I am seeing now how you are making all of these things. I'm slightly creeped out, but
so,
this is insane.
Yeah, and then the very next day, I get a call. We're ready to have an interview. We had the interview. We're excited to have you there.
And you came to A-Fest, you got a publishing deal. You became Mindvalley's second highest rated author for that year. This was way back in 2014.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I can do the rest of this masterclass. I don't know what this guy is going to influence me to happen.
But I can tell you what's interesting.
By the way,
about
guys, I'm actually learning this for the first time right now. This was not rehearsed.
Sorry to shock you there. Yeah. But the interesting thing about it is I'm actually not manipulating reality. So what I'm doing is, because I'm spiritually fit, I'm listening to the opportunities that are there. Right? If I didn't have the information that matched with you guys, if we weren't doing the same mission, it wouldn't have worked out.
But obviously something is happening because my company, Mindvalley, kept being drawn to you.
Yes.
It's so rare. I think you're one of only 2 authors or 3 authors on Mindvalley that has ever been offered 2 programs, 2 product deals, not 1. Yeah. What's going on there? What are you doing to us?
Yeah, so I'm just listening for what the opportunity is.
But that is spiritual fit. So you're basically the Arnold Schwarzenegger of spiritual fitness.
Yeah, I'm just living that out. And for me, I just want to help people. I just want to reach out and impact the world, and you guys are doing that.
I want to learn that stuff.
So it's really fun. Yeah, when we got to, I'll tell you one more little part. When we got to A-Fest, I knew I needed to show up a day early. I didn't know why. And I sat down. I said, okay, why am I here? So I just got all nice and tuned up. I sat in the lobby, and my guidance said, you need to reach out to the person that's organizing this and just offer to help. Because I'd worked many different seminars and helped out backstage with the energy work and so on. So I just got on Facebook. I contacted Tanya and said, hey, I'm here. I can help out. Pretty soon she said, oh, we could use a little help here. We could use a healing with this, a healing with that. And suddenly, Mindvalley was coming to me, asking me for my help to tune up people that were having a difficult time with the staff.
So you became a volunteer healer at A-Fest.
Right, but because I got the message that, hey, that's where the opportunity is. That's where you can help. Like I said, I'm always just here to help. I'm not here to manipulate.
Right, I know.
But it sure sounds like that, yeah.
No, but I'm saying that with respect, with adoration, because everybody should be living life like that.
Yes.
Everybody should be living life where intuition is guiding you in terms of where you need to be, what you need to do, and not only is intuition just putting you there, then saying go figure this stuff out, but synchronicities are happening, and so as you said, you are running downhill. So. Let me get focused on this webinar again, because I was slightly impressed by what Jeffrey said and freaked out, honestly. Imagine if this could be what you could pull off in your life. Now, I go through stages where I experience that as well, Jeffrey. Like, I always feel my life is really, really, really free-flowing and easy. It's also because I have had the pleasure of learning from people like you, working with people like you, and taking care of my spiritual fitness. It is probably as important, if not more important, than my level of physical fitness. Because my spiritual fitness also ensures that my body is physically fit. Both go hand in hand, but spiritual fitness is like the core operating system. I know we're using a geek engineer term because we're both engineers, but it's the core system that makes sure everything else in your life works, from your relationships to your body to your health, would you say?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. If you have your spiritual fitness working, it impacts all aspects of your life. There isn't anything about you that isn't your spirit, right? It's funny because a lot of people say that I want to get my spirit in my body. I say, well, that's kind of ridiculous because your spirit is so much bigger than your body. Your body is in your spirit, not your spirit in your body. It's the other way around. And when you get that, you start noticing that, oh, okay, yeah, the body is one important aspect, but there's so many more important things. And when you start focusing on each of those and getting those all leveled up, life gets really fun. I tell you, my life is super fun, right? Because the things that I want, even if I just have a vague idea like, I want to help more people, I want to give more to the world, I don't have to figure out all the details. It just comes to me.
Right, and I notice working with you is so easy, it's so pleasurable, you're never stressed out. I can put you on stage in front of 800 people and boom, everything just works out majestically. He was one of the best, the most loved speakers this past weekend at our Mindvalley event. So Jeffrey, there was something else you told me, right? As we were talking before we started filming this, you mentioned something, that when one is spiritually fit, they don't fall into the traps of the culturescape. They don't follow the bullshit rules, the rules of society. They become an original. They become a visionary. They're creating life in a way where they're not imitating others, but they are an original. They're creating the things that the universe wants to bring forth in the world. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, you bet. And because I love that topic, because this is really personal to me, because I went through that journey many times. Some people call it the midlife crisis, when you wake up and notice that I'm not doing what I want to be doing, but I get a midlife crisis every 7 years, right? Because I'm just moving a little bit faster. So I give you an example. Like for me, I started out, I'm American, so I picked up the American dream. I went to college, I got a great job, I married my college sweetheart, we bought a house and had a beautiful baby, and we even had a little white picket fence, I kid you not, around the yard, right? We did the American dream. And that's when I woke up and I thought, wow, good job. Like I'm really successful at this, but I don't think this has anything to do with me. And it was just so shocking. It was and disturbing because I didn't know what the right answer was. So what I did was, as it happens, if your relationship is really not the right thing for you, it will unravel, even if you love the person and try to hold it together. And that happened with my relationship too. It just kind of unraveled. And at that point, I was like, okay, that wasn't me. I don't know who I am. So what's next? I just looked around at my environment. I was living in Boulder at the time. I was a software engineer, and I said, I want to be a tech millionaire, and I want to be a rock climber, and I want to be cool, and have the right car, and I just picked that dream up. And I played that out for about 7 years. Everybody loved my life. Everybody said, wow, you're really successful, you're doing great. But I didn't love my life. I realized I'm kind of shallow, I'm feeling kind of bored, I'm pretty materialistic. Wow, this has nothing to do with me. So again, I thought, okay, this time I'm going to get it right. This third chance, I thought, who's the person I respect most? Oh, that's got to be one of my spiritual teachers. I've been studying for a long time, and I thought, okay, I'm going to go down the spiritual path. So I quit my job, I moved to Sedona, I meditated every day. I did a 500-day meditation of connecting with my guides.
500 days?
500-day meditation, yeah.
Non-stop?
No, 500, just for an hour a day for 500 days.
I see.
So only 500 hours.
Right.
Yeah. And I really went as deep as possible into my spiritual practice to really, really develop that part of me. And it was fantastic. I have no regrets that I did that. But the odd thing that happened was, even though I thought I was fulfilling my mission, I was teaching and I was doing healing work and intuitive readings. About 7 years later, I woke up and noticed, wow, I don't think this really is me either. And it was shocking. I was like, okay, I thought I had it nailed. And again, everybody from the outside was looking, saying, you've really got it. You made a huge transition. You're really successful. And I was like, yeah, but only on the outside. Inside, I know it's not all of me. I know there's something else that I need to give to the world. And at that point, fortunately, I think I got it right. We'll see. A few more years, I'll be at my 7-year point, right? But at that point, I noticed, okay, there's more to me than just the spiritual guy. There's more to me than just the engineering guy. There's more to me than just the rock climber. And there's more to me than just relationships and emotions. There's like all these pieces together. And that's when I started to pull all these together and say, okay, the real me needs to come forth. The real me needs to come out, not just pretending this thing or pretending this thing or pretending the next. And that's when things really changed. That's when I really got on that fast track. It wasn't long after that when I met Mindvalley, because I was ready.
And everything started speeding up.
Yeah, everything started speeding up.
And here's another example of spiritual fitness, right? Which is eerie. It's beautiful how these coincidences work. So after Jeffrey's first program at Mindvalley, Duality, about a year or two passed by. And at that point, Mindvalley was developing a new app called Mindvalley Quest. And this app was about bringing thousands of people together to start a program on the same day and go through a transformation. You start on the same day, You work on the program together in micro slices, 10 to 15 minutes to 20 minutes a day, and everybody ends together. They cross the finishing line together. And what we wanted to do was develop a spiritual program on this format, because group psychology comes together, and when people are going through a spiritual awakening together, it magnifies things. And we wanted to develop a program that would give people the same benefits of, say, going through a fitness training regimen. And we were thinking and looking at all of these authors we had access to. And we had access to some of the biggest names in the world, best-selling men and women, legends in the field. Now, we decided to pursue and work with Jeffrey, and here's why. We were developing this app, and as I was talking to Jeffrey, we understood that he was an engineer. And not only was he an engineer, but he had a profession called UX designer, user interface. So we thought, well, of all the spiritual teachers, if we worked with Jeffrey, and his previous results were so stunning on his previous program and the ratings, we knew that Jeffrey would give us feedback to improve the app because he had experience in designing technology. And so Jeffrey ended up being the person we chose to work with to develop Unlocking Transcendence, which is our spiritual fitness quest. That's the program that you'll be able to access within this masterclass if you're watching here. And when you enroll in Unlocking Transcendence, what happens is Jeffrey guides you. So it starts on a particular day, thousands of students join together, and Jeffrey guides you through a multi-day quest to slowly level up your spiritual fitness. And we'll talk about that a little bit. If you wanted to know more about it, there's a link directly below this video where you can enroll and get a massive, massive, massive enrollment discount just as a thank you for joining us today. So don't close this window. More on Unlocking Transcendence later on. For now, Jeffrey, I'd love for you to tell us what are the components of spiritual fitness and what does each individual component mean?
So before I tell you about those 12 different categories of spiritual fitness, I got to tell the audience a little story. So you got to hear what it was like for me to get involved in this project. So I was actually at home working on a completely different program, right? I didn't plan on telling Mindvalley about this one. It was just something personal to me. And then I was 3 months into that project. I was actually almost ready to release. And I woke up in the morning and my guide said, don't release the new program.
What?
And I thought the same thing. I'm like, this is the program I'm ready to release. And they said, we want you to send Vishen an email. I was like, okay, what do you want me to say? They said, we want you to remind him about your background as an engineer, and we want you to tell him that there's a new idea that you have for
No
the new
way.
program.
Because that, did you hear that, Lauren? Lauren is our head of publishing. We thought we got Jeffrey, and then we were blessed to find out that he was a UX engineer. And you're saying your guide actually said, remind Vishen of your background as an engineer.
Yes, they're very specific. Yeah, they'll tell me exactly, here's the things you need to say, here's the things to do. But it gets better, right? So then Vishen said, yeah, why don't you come down to KL and we'll talk about it, and we've got some ideas too. And so then I went to KL, and I was all ready to...
KL meaning Kuala Lumpur, which is where our head office is based.
Yes, Mindvalley office. And I was all ready to tell you these new ideas. And when I got there, I was just talking and saying, hey, what's going on? And you were all excited about this quest. And you said, what if we could do a quest about energy work and spiritual fitness? And my guide said, just nod your head. Just say yes. And I'm like, but there's this whole program that I want to tell Vishen about. And they're like, just do this. Just nod your head and say yes. And I was like, yes, Vishen, that's perfect. And then it wasn't until on the plane on the way home, I was flying home, and I was thinking about, okay, how am I going to put this together with what you guys are saying, what you want? And then I realized, whoa, the program that I just put together on my own is exactly the program that you guys want. I just didn't have the languaging. I didn't have the structure quite the way that you suggested.
And so what happened was you had already developed the exact program we needed for a new upcoming tech platform.
Yes.
Your guides had told you to remind me of your engineering background, and then we ended up choosing this guy. Thinking we were all smart and brilliant and amazing at what we did, but he had just been spiritually playing us all along.
No, I would say it completely differently. So
No, I know. I think when great work has to come into the world, these synchronicities happen. I feel blessed that this happened, but I'm slightly weirded out.
Yeah, so anytime there's like a big project, right? So projects have a life of their own. They have a consciousness of their own. if there's something that's going to make a big impact in the world, it wants to be birthed.
Right.
And so what it does is that entity, that consciousness, that information starts to seed in all the players that need to take place. Like, I couldn't do this program on my own.
You're right.
I need somebody
You're
like
right. And
Mindvalley.
everything happens
and you
so
guys need
effortlessly.
me. And so I didn't know it, but I was preparing for this program for months before you even reached out. And actually, it was an email that I sent where I was like, hey, I'm just thinking about something.
That's amazing.
And
That's
yeah.
another example of what happens when you can really get fit in all of these 12 categories. Wow, Jeffrey, that's a beautiful story. I wish you'd shared this with me before we started shooting, but I think it's actually good if we include this in this video. Let's talk about the 12 categories.
Okay, yeah, you bet.
And
yeah.
no more surprises.
No more surprises, okay, yeah. Yeah, the reason I brought that one up is that everybody that's listening also has like a big project that's ready for them, right? We're all here for something big and something exciting for us. And I just want you to know that you don't need to know exactly what the details are. You're probably working on it already. You probably are way down the path of getting to exactly what that big thing is for you, even if you don't know it. And once you get this level of spiritual fitness up, you'll notice that the last few pieces come in, and it's actually really easy because you're ready. Yeah, so that's why I wanted to share it, just to let everybody know, like, that's coming for you. It's not just me. We're all moving this direction where we're starting to synchronize with each other, and the whole world is up-leveling to where we can cooperate on this faster,
If
more
anything, you're
impactful
making
level.
me even more excited about doing my spiritual workout this coming
Great.
week.
Okay, so I should tell you about the 12 different areas of spiritual fitness. Okay, so before we get into that, I want to do a quick self-assessment test with you, so you can just get an idea for yourself of where is my level of fitness right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to read 7 questions to you, and I want you to just think on a level of 1 to 10, where are you right now with this question? Does this represent how you feel authentically today? And again, this is about where you are authentically today, not where you'd like to be, right? You have to know where you're starting to get to where you want to go. Okay, so question number 1 is, I can genuinely express myself without fear or hesitation. So on a scale from 1 to 10, is this true for you? I can genuinely express myself without fear or hesitation. So just write that down. So number 2, I easily know what steps to take to bring me closer to my life goals. Is that true for you on a scale from 1 to 10? Question number 3, I'm making a positive impact in this world. I'm making a positive impact in this world on a scale from 1 to 10. How is your work, how is your life moving humanity forward? Question number 4, I'm living my dream, not somebody else's dream. On a scale from 1 to 10, how is this true for you? I'm living my dream, not someone else's dream. Question number 5, I don't feel pressure to please other people. I don't feel pressure to please other people. Number 6, how does this resonate to you? On a scale from 1 to 10, I regularly listen to and trust my intuitive guidance. I regularly listen to and trust my intuitive guidance. The trust is the important part. That's the hard one. So where are you on a scale from 1 to 10? And number 7, I go to bed every night completely satisfied and happy with how my day has unfolded on a scale from 1 to 10. And number 8, my life is so full of synchronicity that things just go the right way for me. And I feel calm even when things aren't going the right way because I know that it's probably the right way for me. So to make that really short, number 8, my life is full of synchronicity and I trust that wherever I'm going, it's the perfect way for me. Now I want you to look at the answers that you gave to these questions. If you're scoring a 9 or a 10, then you can consider yourself spiritually fit. But if you're not, if there's some area where you're a little bit low and you need to level up, I'm going to tell you exactly how to do that right now. So now that we've done that self-assessment, let me tell you about the 12 different areas of awareness that make up your spiritual fitness. The first one is your location awareness. When this is high, you feel like you're very present and you can observe your experience and you can think outside the box. By contrary, if this one's low, you tend to be spacey, it's a little hard to focus, and you tend to repeat the same experiences over and over. The second one is time awareness. When you have your time awareness down, you feel calm, you feel relaxed, you feel focused in the moment, and you're highly attracted to other people and other opportunities. When this one's low, you tend to feel kind of depressed, you feel stuck. Some people even have a really low will to live. You can even be anxious or distracted or feel ineffective, and you're sort of always chasing things because you're too much in the future. The third type of awareness is your physical awareness. And this one's great because when it's strong, you feel athletic and coordinated and really accepting of others rather than judgmental. When this awareness is low, you tend to be less coordinated and judgmental of both yourself and people around you. The fourth type of awareness is your energy awareness. Now this one's really one of my favorites because when your energy awareness is high, you feel an abundant life full of synchronicity and you're really tapping in to your hidden powers. When it's low, the opposite is true. You're kind of stuck in scarcity, your life is full of effort, or you might feel like, why do I never get the breaks? The fifth type of awareness is your mental awareness. And this has to do with your ability to organize your mind, to think clearly and think intentionally. When it's low, you'll have kind of these runaway or obsessive thoughts, and you're easily agitated by things around you. The seventh type is your listening awareness. And this has to do with how do you move through life easily? Are you able to take the easy road in life and be in the right place at the right time? Or are you always trying, kind of missing the opportunity or taking the difficult road and having many disappointments? The next awareness that's important in your spiritual fitness is your intuition. And your intuition is strong. You can make relaxed decisions, make quick progress, find all kinds of synchronicity, and you'll notice this amazing flow and abundance that occurs for you. When this one is low, it's easy to feel a lot of stress around making decisions and frustration by these needless mistakes and slow progress and missed opportunities. The next type of awareness is your spiritual connection. And this one is really important to me because your spiritual connection is when you're feeling connected and peaceful and enthusiastic and generous and abundant. It has to do with how you're connecting with other people in the world. When it's low, you feel lonely and separate and disconnected and maybe a little competitive or greedy or like things are lacking. The next awareness has to do with your emotional awareness. When your emotional awareness is high, you'll notice that you're honest, you're non-judgmental, and you feel alive with your emotions. When it's low, you're going to notice this recurring guilt or these recurring emotional dramas in your life, and you might even feel like it's difficult for you to control your emotions, like they're happening to you instead of something that you're enjoying in your life. The next type of awareness is your empathic awareness, and this has to do with feeling expressive and compassionate and humble and understanding in the world. When it's low, it's really easy to feel like you're kind of overwhelmed or misunderstood or exhausted at the end of the day. You might be noticing that you're overly sensitive and wanting to protect yourself, or you really struggle in crowds. That's a sign that your empathic awareness is low. Now, the last two types of awareness that you need to really get your spiritual fitness up have to do with your impact in the world. So the first one is this personal impact. When this one's really high, you're enjoying a really fulfilling sense that you're impacting other people positively. If it's low, however, you can feel unfulfilled and bored, and sometimes even like, why does my life matter? Why am I here? You might also notice you might be a little bit jealous of other people's successes. The final awareness that we reach in this spiritual fitness is your global impact. And this has to do with creating a better world through highly impactful work. And when this is up, that's very easy to do. If this awareness is low, it's like kind of having a weak muscle in this area. You can feel overwhelmed and competitive and overworked from doing everything yourself. You're really not achieving your full impact when this one is low. So when you put all 12 of these different areas of awareness together, when they all level up, that's what I call spiritual fitness. You really need all these areas at a high level of functioning so that you can easily take advantage of the opportunities that come to you.
Now, how would we tell what level is suboptimal for us?
Which of those 12 is
Yeah.
suboptimal? Yeah, so as I was telling you those different descriptions, one or two probably popped out to you.
Right.
You probably noticed like, I have that feeling. I have that feeling where I'm a little bit jealous of other people, or I have that feeling where my emotions kind of blow up and are out of control. So even if you're really high in like 10 of these areas, there'll be at least one or two that jump out to you where you're feeling like, oh, okay, that one really spoke to me.
So a question for you, Jeffrey. What if you're going through stress or anxiety? What does that mean? Because that's one of the most common afflictions that we go through in the modern world. What awareness is low when you're facing stress or anxiety?
Right, yeah, good question. So it actually depends on what type of stress you're feeling. For most people, the stress that you're feeling actually has to do with your mental awareness. Not just how your mind is functioning, but how well you're listening to the world. Because if your listening awareness is high and you're able to understand what's happening around you, that's when you're moving with the flow. Because stress just has to do with friction, okay? So stress means that there's a beautiful flow, a strong flow that's going by, but instead of taking you on that journey, there's this little eddy that's bumping up against you. So that's where most people hit it.
Now, what about another common affliction, depression?
Yeah, depression. So actually, you might be surprised. Depression usually has to do with empathic awareness. So a little secret I can tell you, if you feel depressed, here's the secret for that. If you're not feeling good, you're not feeling you. Okay, if you're not feeling good, you're not feeling you because your energy always feels good to you. So if you're empathic, you're naturally matching the world around you. You're tending to pick up a little energy from other people in your environment. And that's what causes the depression because it's blocking your true sense and your true self. And we're going to work on that today, actually.
Really? Okay, that's interesting. Now, I want to ask a couple because these are really common things which I know a lot of you guys are experiencing in your life. What about guilt, shame, the inability to forgive yourself or forgive others?
Yeah, let's see. So you put me on the spot. Let me see.
Right.
So for guilt and shame, so with if you're feeling guilty, this one usually has to do with your impact. So for most people, there's a sense that we want to do something in the world, that we want to help people in some way, that we're wanting to make a positive difference, even if it's just for the people really close to us, the people that we love. And so guilt and shame usually comes from this feeling that I'm not doing as much as I can. And if you're not doing as much as you can, it's not because you're not trying, it's usually because you just don't quite have that level of fitness in that particular area.
Thank you, Jeffrey. So I hope you guys got that and you guys understand the 12 different categories. Now, there's an exercise you're going to take us through.
Yes. Yeah, so this exercise, I was looking today at what can I give you that's going to give you the most benefit today. The exercise I want to take you through today is really special. I was looking at what can I give you today that will give you the most help in your life right now. Because just in this 1 hour, I can't take you through all 12 levels of spiritual fitness. That's a 60-day program that I can tell you about later. But today, what I can give you is one adjustment that's going to get you ready to move all those up at once. There's kind of like one little key one at the beginning. And what that has to do with, you might be surprised, it actually has to do with responsibility. Now, I know that's kind of a scary word, stick with me. But what I mean by that is not that you're taking too much responsibility or that you're taking too little responsibility. What I mean is that you're taking responsibility for the wrong things. Okay? You probably heard me say this before, that I say you're not failing in the world, you're just succeeding at somebody else's dream. Same thing is true with responsibility. That's why this is happening for you. So what I want you to do, I'm going to lead you through 6 different exercises or 6 different questions that you can look at and really refine this for you, really get this dialed in so that you're taking responsibility for the right things for you. And before we dive into that, I want you to consider that if you have something you're working on, if there's some problem in your life that you can't solve, there's only one reason that you can't solve it, and that's because the problem isn't yours. If it was your problem, you would have the solution. So let's take a look. So go ahead and close your eyes. And I want you to think right now, what is the biggest frustration that you have? What's the one thing for you that you would like to change? And now, with that thing in mind, I want you to ask, is this problem mine or is it not mine? Is this problem mine or is it not mine? And let's refine that a little bit. Imagine you have a little gauge out in front of you that goes from 0 to 100%. I want you to ask that gauge, is this problem mine or is it not mine? And what percentage do you get? Very good. Now I want you to be responsible for just your part and nothing less. So some percentage that was your problem, some percentage it was somebody else's. You're going to focus on just the part that's yours. So what I want you to do is, beside that little gauge, I want you to do a little sorting. You're just going to imagine the right side is for me and the left side is for not me. And just in a very easy and gentle way, think about your problem and let it sort itself out. The part that's yours will move to one side, and the part that's not will move to the other. And you may get details as this is happening, or it may just be kind of colors that are floating by. Either way is just fine. Very good. And now what I want you to do is take all that information, all that energy of the problem that's not yours, and I want you to imagine it's in a big soap bubble, and you can just pop that bubble, boom, and it disappears. There you go. And so all you're left with is the part of the problem that's actually yours. Good, good. Okay, now I want you to connect with your source of inspiration. Your inspiration comes from your heart, comes from your higher mind, comes from your spirit. You can even tap a little bit on your heart, tap a little bit on your forehead, your higher mind, and just kind of tap above your head on your spirit. And just feel yourself getting connected with your true source of inspiration. As you do that, you're letting go of everybody else's information, everybody else's dreams. And just notice, what is your true dream? Very good. Now next, I want you to practice taking action with this dream. So you're going to do just what you're responsible for, and you're going to let other people do what they're responsible for. So in your mind, just visualize what you're going to do, and then ask yourself, what am I going to stop doing right now? Yeah, very good. And then step 5 is just enjoy. Just imagine what it's going to feel like when you're in this new space. This frustration is gone, you've engaged your inspiration, and you're taking action on your dream. Very good. And your final step is forgiveness. And that's just to forgive yourself for taking so long to take the easy action for you. It's okay exactly where you are today, and everybody else is okay too. Very good. And just go ahead and open your eyes. Now, this last part is really important, this forgiveness part. I'll tell you, when I was going through this transformation myself, something really interesting happened. I mentioned when I was in Sedona, I did this meditation that was 500 days long, 1 hour a day for 500 days. And in the beginning, I was listening to my guides, and I was just doing what they suggested. And one of the first suggestions they said is love who you are. I thought, okay, I can do that. So I spent a couple of weeks kind of looking at where I didn't love myself and working on that. And then I finally thought I had it licked. I came back to my guides and I said, I think at least sometimes I can do that. I can love who I am. And that's when they hit me with a big one. And they said, okay, now love who you were. It's not good enough to just love who you are. You have to love who you were. Because if you're judging yourself and saying, I was bad before, but now I'm great, you're not there yet. You were good before, you're even better now, and you'll be even better in the future. And the same applies to everybody else too.
That's really cool. Jeffrey, 2 follow-up questions. I bet you guys are thinking of this as well. Why did you pick responsibility as that problem to have us focus on in this last exercise?
Yeah, the reason I picked responsibility is I looked at all these different 12 areas, and I was saying, why are people's fitness level low, right? I know that you need to get all 12 up, but why are the ones that are low, low? And it's almost always that answer. It's always that you're taking responsibility for something that's not yours. Whether it's chasing somebody else's dream, or you're feeling like you have to take care of somebody that really could be taking care of themselves. It's almost always there's a responsibility piece there that's in the way.
Right, and you can see that energetically.
Yeah, so that's the energy behind it. So it seems a little bit unusual, like why would we go there?
Right.
But it's actually this key piece. If you can start to adjust the responsibility, all these areas will naturally start, rising on their own.
Now my second question is, you speak about spirit guides a lot, right?
Yeah.
Is that one of the phenomenon that we start experiencing? And your spirit guides seem so in tune, they seem so accurate. You're getting very direct instructions. Is that one of the things that happens when we, say, go through Unlocking Transcendence, your program, and become spiritually fit?
Yes, it is. It's actually one of the, it's kind of one of the later steps in the program. But definitely, when you get that spiritual fitness up, that's one of the amazing things that comes in. Is all of a sudden you're not just getting this clear guidance from inside, like this knowing this, here's what I want, or here's what I'm dreaming about, but suddenly there's this external information you can access too.
That's incredible. That's one of the most powerful things I've learned to bring in my life. So can you quickly repeat the 7 steps that you took us through? Just for those people here who want to make sure that they write it down.
Yes. So if you want to write that down, so it's actually very easy to remember because there you can think A, B, C, D, E, F, get to the steps. So the first one is, anytime that you're facing a problem that's causing some stress for you, first thing you do is you ask yourself, is this problem even mine, right? Is it even mine? And you can refine that and say, what percentage is mine and what percentage is not? The second thing you do, you think B, right? You want to be responsible for the part that's yours, but nothing more. So let go of the part that's not yours. It's hard for most people to do, but that's the biggest thing you can do. Step 3, which is C, is you want to connect. You want to connect with your true source of inspiration. Easy way is just kind of tap on your heart, tap on your head, tap above you, turn on that channel of your inspiration so you can bring that through. The 4th step is D, and D is doing it, taking action. So take action on your part, and this is even more important, stop taking action on the part that's not yours, because that's the part where you're wasting all of your time and energy. So you got to take action on yours, not take action on what's not yours. And then finally, E is just enjoy. That's your measurement. You know, am I doing it right? Am I feeling good about my life? Am I happy with what I'm doing? Because if you're not enjoying it, then you're doing something that's not for you. You're not doing something that's just, you've taken responsibility for a part that actually belongs to somebody else. And then this last little part, F, the forgiveness, that's one that I just added on kind of spontaneously, which is just that knowingness, noticing that I'm okay now, I was okay before, and everybody's okay. That's actually a little secret sauce that makes everything move up.
And so this is it's an exercise, the ABCDF technique is an exercise we would apply whenever we're feeling stressed or overwhelmed.
Yes.
Beautiful. I love that. That's going to be so useful for me. Now, in this seminar, we spoke about things that we don't often speak about sometimes in Mindvalley Masterclasses, because these go to corporations. Some of these are used in schools. And so we tend to avoid, saying things that some people might find, for lack of a better word, right, too out there.
Yes.
But here we spoke about spirit guides. We spoke about spiritual fitness. We wanted to go there. And I wanted you to share with the audience the analogy, because you told me something that shifted my view of giving permission to talk about these deep spiritual topics. And it had to do with the perception of jogging back when you were young.
So that's great. So Yeah, when I was little, if you were, I may be a little older than some people, older than you think, but at that time, if you saw somebody jogging or running, the question was, where's the fire, right? You didn't know why the person was running or what they're trying to get away from. Not long after that, we started noticing, okay, there are a couple of weirdos that are out there in their jogging shorts and running, but those people are a little bit crazy. A few years after that, there were more of the crazy people, and all of a sudden it switched from being this sort of strange, funny thing with just the crazy people into this movement, this physical fitness movement, where people were getting more and more on board. You know, now we're quite a ways down that. So today, if you're not taking care of your body, if you're not into your physical fitness, then you're a little bit strange, then you're a little neglectful. And the reason I was telling you this is that we're going through this similar change right now with spiritual fitness. So we went through this stage where if you said the word meditation, ooh, you were crazy. If you said the word energy, we don't want to hear that word.
And now we're ready to go deeper. We're ready to actually tap into intuition, communicate with guides, operate as spiritual beings in a physical body.
Yes.
And not as physical beings who certainly, remember occasionally that they have a spirit.
Yeah, we're right in the middle of that spiritual fitness movement. And the energy is perfect right now. So if you get on board and you get into the spiritual fitness movement, then it's just like the physical fitness movement before. Pretty soon, in 10 years, it'll be everybody will have it, everybody will be excited about it, but you want to get in early because that's when you can make the biggest gain.
And this is why we're so excited about unlocking transcendence. See, as you can tell from what we've learned from Jeffrey, we were coming up, Jeffrey and Mindvalley were coming up with these ideas simultaneously, as if this idea had to be given birth to in the world. We were developing an app. We were noticing that as we developed this new form of learning where students were starting a course together, going through it together and finishing together, we were seeing completion rates go into the high 90%, some of the highest in the industry. But there were two things we noticed that we had to do to really make this work. Number one, we could not deliver an 8-hour course and say, study this in your own time. It had to be thousands of students starting together because that creates an energy of its own. And all of these students practicing the same exercise on the same day, right? So everyone is on day 1 together, on day 2 together, on day 3 together. Although they are around the world, so day 1 for you may be about, around, maybe separated by a wide number of hours. But in that roughly same day-long time span, you're doing the same exercise. We're all on day 1 together. And every day, we're only asking you to listen to Jeffrey from 5 to 20 minutes, no more than 20 minutes. Now what happens is everybody starts together, everybody goes through the program together, everybody crosses the finishing line together. And so we take thousands of people through this movement to get them spiritually fit. And it's all supported on Mindvalley's new Quest platform. So you actually get to go through these trainings using the Quest app. All the technology is synchronized. So we brought in great technology, great learning psychology, and a phenomenal teacher. Jeffrey, I'd love for you to tell them about unlocking transcendence.
Yeah, you bet. And one quick comment on what you just mentioned. So the technology is really fantastic there, but there's an energy component too, right? So what's happening with the energy is if you watch students, like I watch students' energy, and you watch how they learn, there's this activation effect that happens in a group. So when you're in a group and one person moves up and gets an aha, when they raise their level of awareness, everybody gets that aha too. So you get that group awareness. And the same thing happens when you're with a teacher that's at a high level of awareness. You'll kind of temporarily get that activation too.
Right.
So it's really fun. The platform really supports how the energy actually works. And that's what excites me about it.
And it reminds me of something Neil Donald Walsh said in his Conversations with God books. He said that when you have a group of people with high consciousness, as other people enter that group, everyone's consciousness goes up, right? And he says, but if you have a group with low consciousness, and if you have high consciousness, if you go in that group, your consciousness goes down. In short, group consciousness affects the individual. And when a group of high conscious individuals come together, especially in a program like this, everyone starts magnifying their consciousness. So that group effect is really powerful. Now, there's one more thing we bring into the program that you're going to find interesting. Everyone is connected in an online community. You get to chat with other students. You get to discuss things with other students. And so what happens is there's this huge support network, this huge collaborative network with Jeffrey at the helm, and everyone is being up-leveled. And that's why Unlocking Transcendence is such a powerful tool. I know you guys are probably thinking, this is an incredible idea, right? A fitness program for the soul. But there's an engineering methodology behind it. group psychology and group healing methodology behind it. There's so many beautiful layers of this program, which makes it so effective in terms of the results people are getting and how it truly transforms life. I'd like to invite you to try it out. Below this webinar, you can enroll in the next class for Unlocking Transcendence. Now, here's the thing. Because it's a group learning experience, it is only available for enrollment anywhere from once or twice a year when we open up the class, because this is a real-world event. Everybody is doing this at the same time, so it has a particular start date that you'll see below. Now, if you order or enroll on this page as a thank you for being with us, you get an unlock discount. So you get a big enrollment discount. And so you save quite a bit. So don't close this page, because if you try accessing the program from the rest of the website or anywhere else on the web, it might be a little bit more expensive. On this page, you get the very best price. But it's important that you enroll before the start date, because we want everyone going through this together. Now I want to give you an idea of how the program is designed and engineered, being that Jeffrey is an engineer. There are 12 different areas of awareness that we're going to be looking at, and you're going to be up-leveling in all these areas of awareness. In each of these areas, you actually learn tools. Jeffrey, back to you.
All right, thanks, Vishen. So there's one more thing that I want to address that you might be thinking is that, wow, this is a lot of information. This is a lot of stuff I'm going to learn. How am I going to get through this program? And I've actually got a background in engineering, and I love making things efficient and easy for you. And as I've been teaching and watching people's awareness develop, I noticed there's a specific series of steps that we can go through to raise your awareness. And I take you through these 6 steps for each of those 12 areas. So the first step, the first day, we always do a little bit of self-assessment, just like you did today, where you get to notice, where am I in this particular awareness? The second day, we do an easy success. So it's really important that you do an exercise where you notice, wow, I could be successful at this. That's step 2. The third day, we do the challenge day. So this is where you get a little bit deeper. If there's something that you really need to move out of the way to get your spiritual fitness up in this area, this is the day we do it, on the challenge day. Now, the 4th day is really fun. The 4th day is always the wow day. And this is the day where we really take it to the next level, where you do something personally, you have an experience that you didn't know was possible. So at the end of that day, you're thinking, wow, it's like I have this new superpower that I didn't know I had.
Right, I remember when I was doing this, like you're projecting your awareness to different parts of your body. You're sending your consciousness to other parts of the room. It's really, you have to experience this to believe it.
Yeah, it's pretty far out. Some of the things we're doing in this course are actually very advanced teachings. But if you take it step by step, you can get there. Everybody has the capability of reaching a very high level of awareness if you just go through it step by step. Now, number 5 is practice. So you have to practice things to get better. So I give you specific areas in your life where you can practice your location awareness and your time awareness and your intuition and your empathy and all these different levels of awareness. And as you integrate it into your life, you'll notice that, wow, now that I know where to do it and where to practice it, it's actually easy. It's not something I have to do outside of my life, it's something I do inside of my life. And that's what really brings the awareness up. Now, the 6th one has to do with sharing, and this is why I love this platform so much, is because if you share what you're learning, you learn it at a deeper level. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I teach, right? Teaching is the way to get mastery at your material. So if you share your experience with other people, if you share what happened to you and what you think about it, all of a sudden your understanding is much, much deeper, and it sticks, right? If you had that experience where you took a class, it was really great, and the class ended and you sort of forgot everything, this is probably the step you were missing. So for each of the 12, we go through these 6 steps. We go through self-assessment, easy success, your challenge, the wow experience, and then we do a sharing exercise and a practice.
And so what's really cool about that is that every 5 days, you're up-leveling in one of the 12 areas of spiritual awareness. And you're doing it as a group. And so there's this beautiful group effect that's happening as well. And Jeffrey's a really remarkable teacher. And you're putting in 20 minutes a day. And even if you think right now, look, I don't know if I have 20 minutes, I bet many of you have a yoga or meditation practice, which you're doing anyway for spirituality. But many of you guys are doing the same meditation every day, right? And so you learn nothing new. If you work out the same muscle group every day, eventually you hit a particular point where you're no longer growing that muscle because your body has adapted. It's gotten used to that exercise. Same thing happens with fitness, spiritual fitness. You have to mix it up. And so whatever you're doing in terms of your meditation or your traditional prayer or spiritual practice, pause that for a second. Do that and do Unlocking Transcendence. Or if you must, pause that for a second and go through this, because you're going to learn so many remarkable tools over this 60-day program that you're just going to feel yourself grow in ways you've never grown before.
And one of the beautiful things we saw in the community last time was that people were able to take these different tools because they apply in so many different ways and just integrate it into their current practice.
Right. And that's why it stretches out over 60 days, because you're applying and applying and applying. How do you deal with your boss? How do you deal with your job? How do you deal with your spouse, your kids? How do you deal with illnesses or pain you might have? How do you deal with stress, anxiety, fears, depression? You apply it in the course of 60 days. All of us are going to go through this thing called life. And you're going to learn how to tweak and improve all of these beautiful aspects of your life using these tools. That's what makes this so powerful. So folks, I cannot wait for you to join us when we start the Unlocking Transcendence quest on Mindvalley with this remarkable man. And you can enroll on this page, get a special discount, join thousands of students who are going to be taking this together, starting together, going through it together, supporting each other, and crossing that finishing line together as beings who have been able to reach a whole new level of spiritual fitness. And then let's see the kind of magic we can do in this world with this tribe.
Great, thanks.
Any
Richard.
closing words, Jeffrey?
Yeah, I'm so excited because I've seen the transformation that people go through, and I can see the energy of all the people that are watching this, and I can see just the amazing impact that it's having. And like I said, this isn't just a one-time event. We're going through a whole spiritual fitness movement on the planet right now. Everybody is up-leveling. We're getting out of this kind of challenging phase where we're fighting and we're spending so much energy and resources in destructive ways. And I can see that in you. I can see that that's what's going to happen for you, that you're going to move into this beautiful flow that's taking us in that beautiful, positive place in the world. So that's what excites me. Yeah.
Thank you, Jeffrey. I cannot wait to see you guys in the spiritual fitness community that we are creating with Unlocking Transcendence. And can't wait to hear your stories and see the results you guys get. Thank you for joining us. All the information is below this video.
I find Jeffrey Allen to be very intuitive. I find him to be very calming and a stabilizing presence.
After unlocking the transcendence, I understood many patterns that were working in my life unconsciously.
I find him to be very balancing. I find him to be one that also exhibits a settling energy and also an energy of creativity.
Before more confused on the time, simultaneous time and the multi-dimension. So now I am more clear and centered and have tools to ground myself and stretch and expand in the way I decide to go.